Today's episode is going to be a little bit different. It's going to be a little long, but don't worry, if you want to jump ahead, I got timestamps listed in the video. I'm joined by friend and special effects guru Will Carmack, who's on the keto diet and needed to learn some new recipes. So I'm going to teach him how to hold a knife, how to use a knife, and ultimately make a delicious steak pizzaiola. There's a lot of learning in this one, so pay attention. All right, so today we have a guest on. I'd like you to meet Will.
Was that it? Was that the intro?
That was the intro. We just roll. I don't have anything prepared for you. Will's like a special effects guru. He's like a video magician.
Know what I just love about coffee is that after I drink it, it really changes my perspective.
I have a really particular need for his skills for something I have down the road. So it actually turns out he's doing the keto diet.
So it's been 1 month since me and my roommate Manoa have started the keto diet. I've been doing it for 2 months and I've lost 21 pounds.
Look at that, it's amazing. So we were talking about it and he was curious about recipes because, you know, any sort of diet can become mundane. And if you don't have sort of like the tools to think about how you're gonna make something within that diet, it could be tough. So I was like, dude, I got you.
Yeah, the toughest part about keto is I'm eating the same things every single day. And so what I'm excited about here is he's gonna show me a keto meal that doesn't taste like cardboard.
And what we're making today is steak pizzaiola.
Mamma mia.
Have you ever heard of it?
I've never heard any of those words.
Are you Italian?
No, do I look?
Right now we just gotta get into cooking. You're gonna make a video about this, right?
Yes. Basically, I'm making a video about the progress of keto and how I'm losing weight between exercising and eating healthy on my channel. And he's in it.
So you're I'm gonna leave his channel down below. And you know, you guys gotta go show him some love and support his little journey on the keto diet.
You'll get to see how fat I used to be. And I just have to accept the fact that I've gained weight and I'm upset about it.
Anyway, let's get into talking about this recipe. All right, you need to, this is your towel. You can put it on however you like. I like it here. It's always there, whatever you want. So steak pizzaiola. All the recipes I've seen with steak pizzaiola have been with this actual steak, but that doesn't really make sense to me because I can't really like imagine an Italian 100 years ago cooking a T-bone steak in tomato sauce. So traditionally this was done with like a tough cut of meat. I imagine it's a way to give a tough cut of meat the same eating experience as a steak, but a lot cheaper, and maybe it takes a little bit longer to cook. What steak pizzaiola means is steak in the style of pizza. So yeah.
I'm excited.
And we don't want to cook it like till it shreds and falls apart. We want to cook it till it's like fork tender, so it will just pull apart when we kind of cut it open with a fork. So you won't need a knife. And then we're gonna make a nice bed of sauteed spinach. And I'm gonna show you how easy that's gonna be to cook.
I'll be interested to see if you can make me like spinach.
I will, I mean, I know that for certain. So the first thing we wanna do is get our things prepped up. One thing I wanted to mention is, I went to the store and they didn't have any of the whole tomatoes, brands that I like. So unfortunate.
That's dumb.
I'm a stickler for ingredients.
As you should.
I always tell you go get either DOP San Marzano tomatoes or certain brands that are US tomatoes. The store that I went shopping at, they didn't have anything I wanted. So I wanted to show you that sometimes in a pinch I will get this passata. What passata is essentially what we get when we take tomatoes and run it through our food mill for a weekday sauce, that puree of tomatoes the seeds are removed and the skins are removed, and it's a smooth puree of tomato, that's what passata is. And so today I wanted to show you can make it with this. I don't imagine you have a food mill, and you're in New York City, guys, so I can't imagine you're gonna buy one. Probably not. So for the sake of it, you can get this. The problem is you just have to try certain brands and be like, this is a sweet smelling tomato. Smell that. That smells like grandma's tomato sauce.
Well, yeah, it does.
You know what I mean? Like there's a real nice tomatoey aroma to it. And that's only because I went to the store and I've tried this. I know that it's a good brand. So that's up to you. You can buy really bad versions of this, so be careful. This is just an 100% organic tomato, strained tomatoes. This is gonna be perfect. And we're just gonna cook this in onion and garlic and olive oil. So spinach we can make later, that takes a minute. We just have to prepare onions, garlic, and our meat. This is bottom round.
So it's like the stomach of a cow.
Yeah, this is where the round is, okay? So it's tough. A little bit of connective tissue that needs a little bit of time to break down in order to become tender.
So we're eating a cow's butt.
Essentially, yeah. So yesterday I got this whole piece of meat prepped. I needed to do this a day before just to make it really good for you. You don't have to do it a day before, but it allows that skin to sort of dry out so we can get a really nice sear. It's an extra step to make it better.
Yeah.
So last night I cut the steak in half. I seasoned each steak with salt, and then I threw that in the refrigerator uncovered. So see how it's like darkened around the edges? That we're gonna just pat dry, and that's gonna create that brown crust. So I'm just gonna take a paper towel, and I just wanna pat it dry. Get it as dry as you can. Every time you cook meat, chicken, anything.
You want it dry.
You want the exterior as dry as possible. So that's why, like, if you have a piece of chicken and you know you're gonna make it that night, in the morning, put it on a pan or a dish in the refrigerator, uncovered, safely away from anything.
Interesting.
And just let it sit there. That skin will dry out, and then when you go to cook it, it's gonna get so crispy. It's beautiful.
I've never thought about that, because the idea of like leaving my meat uncovered, just because I'm not like a very experienced cook, it seems like something bad will happen.
Well, you have to just know that, you know, you could contaminate things. When you do something like that, you have to dedicate a shelf to it, or like half of a shelf. You really have to know that you're clean enough and your refrigerator isn't filthy or have weird odors. Otherwise, what you would do is just cover it. It just won't get as dry.
Yeah.
But you can always just pat it dry, and then we know we're gonna get a nice sear on that.
See, I think I would be able to do that, but I don't trust what my roommates put in my fridge.
That's a tough thing. So we'll work on your knife skills a little bit.
Oh.
Do you know how to hold a knife?
Like this?
That's not terrible,
Okay.
but the idea with a knife is that we want it to act sort of like an extension of our arm. You want absolute control.
Okay.
No wiggle room. If somebody bumps into me, you know what I mean? Like, it's safe.
Yeah.
No, I'm not gonna accidentally hit you because I know when I'm holding a knife, it's danger zone. I hold the knife essentially 3 fingers on the handle, and then pinch with these. So like this, and then wrap around, and then pinch, like that.
It basically turns into a really long fingernail.
Exactly. And what you just did there, if you feel comfortable, you can do this.
That's what my dad taught me.
I don't recommend it. I recommend that for like precision stuff. Like, you have more control if you just get comfortable leaning that finger in there, not so far.
You're like stabilizing the blade.
You're stabilizing the footage.
Yeah.
Okay? Whenever you hold anything with a knife, you're essentially creating like a pinch down there and a guide with this finger. So now that this knife is in complete control and all I'm doing is this, I can push this knife against the knuckle, and then look, see that space?
Yeah.
You'll never cut yourself so long as you don't go above this point.
Yeah, it's still freaky though.
It's freaky, but you have to get used to it. Think about it. Once my hand is on an onion, it's really hard. Like, you have to be really aggressive and come up really high off the board to cut this finger. All I want you to do is pick this finger and your back fingers and like secure it.
Okay.
So it's not moving. Now pinch your fingers like this.
Ah, okay.
Like that, right? And now try and get this joint over your fingernail. Grab onto the knife.
Like this.
And then put the top of the blade against that knuckle.
Okay.
And now push the blade forward. Not down. You push it down, push forward. No. All right, that's fine. You did it. You did it. That's
did it.
Yeah. But what you did is you pushed the knife down. When if you want to cut something, instead of like I'm pushing down now. If I pushed forward, it just cuts it really easily.
Yeah.
And if you ever have trouble, pick the knife up and then rock it forward. And then you get these really easy cuts. I want to cut strips of this so I can cut the root off. Usually when I'm gonna dice it, I'll keep the root on, cut it in half, and that root will kind of keep the onion together while I try and dice it. Now keep an eye on my finger work. And then how I move the knife. And then cut it in half.
So satisfying.
I'm just gonna create slices. So you see how there's like natural grooves? I just want to cut slices along those grooves, like that. And what I'm gonna just do is go forward, like that. See?
It almost gives me anxiety just knowing how close the knife is to your finger.
But look, it's never, I'm safe. As long as I go down, it's because you have such control. I don't even have to look, honestly, because I know I can feel the knife against my finger, and I know it's not close to my fingertip. And then when I get down to here, I will push it forward so it's a new edge, and then I have stability, and I'll just keep cutting.
Is this gonna make us cry?
Hopefully not. But if we cry, you know, we're men, and
real men cry.
You know, we're okay with ourselves, so it won't be a big problem. Now, do you think you can do that?
Actually, yes.
It's not that hard. Just go really slow.
Did you say start in the middle?
No.
Start from here? Or should I feel like I should start from here.
No. You could do slices like that, but this is a different kind of cut, and that's all we kind of want. This is more of like a half moon cut. But for today, we want to cut it along the surface of the onion like that.
Okay.
Push forward. Try and work on getting the knife, the point on the bottom, and then pushing forward.
Okay.
Like that. You know what I mean? Adjust your handle, like choke up on the handle, and then position yourself differently, like that, like an athlete. You're playing a football game.
I'm nailing it right now.
There you go. Be careful of your thumb here.
Oh yeah, don't chop off.
Now what you got to do is you got to adjust. Push it forward. No. Push.
Do I do it like that?
Yes.
Ah, okay. Here we go.
Now adjust your hands. Get back into position. Slow down. Watch your thumb here.
Oh yeah.
Be careful.
And then I bet I could do this one-handed.
Sure.
Whoa!
Perfect. Kid's a natural.
I imagine this is a good skill to have when you're on a date.
Oh my god.
It helps me find love.
You will get laid making this video for sure. I promise you.
Is that garlic?
Yeah.
It looks like a bag of, like, baby powder.
A bag of baby powder? This is a little tricky because it's smaller.
Yeah.
But it's the same principle as the onion. What you're gonna have to do is get real kind of tight in there. You gotta get real tight, and it's the same idea. It's just training your fingers to feel comfortable doing that. And then cutting as thin as possible.
Oh wow. What I know is the moment I get comfortable, I'll chop my thumb off.
So never get comfortable. It's like being in New York. It's like you're not scared, but you know something can always happen.
You're hyper aware.
Hyper alert, hyper aware, but you're in control. Just try and get the motion down and get it comfortable. If they're thick, don't worry about it. Like, it's fine. Just get used to doing it. Right? There it is.
I honestly think that's as good as I can get.
That's great.
I'll do another one.
Every time you cook, you practice good technique. It's like anything you do for work, right? When you're learning special effects stuff, you're gonna learn how to do it the right way so you know how to properly do it, right? So it's like a skill in your arsenal.
Yeah.
The same thing with using a knife. That's the most important skill to have in a kitchen, because when you don't have time, doing this will take you 5 seconds instead of the 30 minutes it's gonna take you to do this right now.
It's kind of fun to do that.
And now, because I've been doing this for 10 years, it's really easy to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Done.
That's so crazy.
Slow by the finger. I can speed through it, but I know when I get down to here, go slow. There's no need to go fast. So like I can go fast all the way up till about halfway.
And then you're in the danger zone.
And then I'm in the danger zone, so I slow down. But again, practice slow. Speed comes when you've practiced and then you use speed to prep a meal faster.
Yeah.
A little bowl for my garlic. I actually need more garlic for the spinach, so I'm gonna cut that now so it's ready to go later.
You know, my name is Will, but Will is actually short for Willet.
Willet?
Yeah, my name's Willet.
I've never heard that name.
I haven't
should call
either.
yourself Willet because it's so unique. I just hope nobody calls me food freak.
Well, when I first got introduced to you, it was like, have you met the food freak? And I was like, who? Is that like Cookie Monster's friend?
Okay, so we have our garlic and onions cut. You did a great job.
Thanks.
Now I have a little garnish of parsley.
That's a nice bunch of parsley.
Come on, man, you know I'm not gonna get the bad stuff. I just want to cut the stems off. I'm gonna keep those stems for stock. That's perfect to just add into a stock and add a lot of flavor. To chop parsley really fine, I'm just gonna get it into a bunch, almost like you're rolling a cigar. Get it nice and tight. The same principle of cutting. We're gonna go once through really finely, as fine as we can. Slowly adjusting our fingers as we need. Readjusting the bunch. Going slow. If you're scared about your finger, that's the advantage of going slow, because even if you were to get up towards skin, you would feel the blade before you were able to cut yourself. So the slower you go, the better. And you just keep kind of like your hand is sweeping all the loose bits back into the pile.
Have you ever thought about just using like chainmail gloves?
I have one.
Because when I worked at Panera Bread, we would wear those.
You worked at Panera, huh?
I worked at Panera Bread for 3 years, and we used the chainmail gloves so we wouldn't cut ourselves.
I have one for a mandolin. So
from mandolin, like, is that a brand or a country?
It's the knife where you can slice really thin.
Ah, okay.
You know what I mean? You know, what I want to do is cut it even finer. So I'm going to take my knife like this, tip of the knife on the board, hand on the blade like this with the palm, and then rock. So you rock one way like that, and then you adjust. And then you use the knife, get it all back in, and do it again. So this time, instead of doing this, I'm sort of holding it, pinching, and rocking.
Okay.
And your hand is very safely away from the other end of the blade.
Like that?
Yeah, and then like mow through it. And then like adjust your body to get into like a different orientation. Now hop over. There you go. That's perfect.
Cooking is one of those things I think is really fun, but I don't think I do it enough because I don't know enough recipes.
Well, most people don't think it's fun. A lot of people think it's a chore, but you know, anything is a chore if you don't know how to do it. Because then it's like you have to, the act of learning it is a chore.
That was so wise.
So,
like you can watch my face. I had like a whole, I had a whole moment.
Okay, so everything is prepped, right? Might have taken a little long, but we're kind of walking through it, and that just goes to show, like, look how easy everything is now. Like, now when we want to go cook, everything's ready. We don't have to, like, frantically start cutting. Like, we're good to go. We can just sit there and make sure everything's going as planned.
The French term, pierre de resistance.
No, mise en place.
Same thing.
Okay. We're going to use a Dutch oven because you have one.
I have a Dutch oven, yeah.
So we're going to use this. We're going to sear the meat in the Dutch oven, and then we're going to add the onions and the garlic, and that's going to deglaze the pan on some level. When those are browned, we're going to add wine and deglaze the pan as well, but look for keto wine.
Yes, a big thing about being on keto is it's surprising, but a lot of alcohols have sugar or carbs in them.
Yeah.
So a lot of wines are keto friendly. You just have to do some research and look out for them.
Yeah, and if you don't have wine, you can totally just omit the wine. It's not necessary, but since we're making, this is a bit of more of like a braisey kind of thing, and we're going to get some fond in the pan, it's nice to deglaze it with something. So I have a little bit of wine. We're just going to use a splash. We're going to add all that stuff and let this thing cook in the oven at like 350 degrees for, I'm going to say, about an hour and a half to 2 hours.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And we're going to cook them until a fork can punch through them with zero resistance, but they're not falling apart. Get your camera, I'm gonna need that today.
Okay.
We're gonna get this pan nice and hot. So I've got a little bit of avocado oil. You're gonna let those sit there, and literally you're not gonna touch them until when you flip them, you know there's a hard crust. That's what you're looking for. Don't do timing or anything. It's all visual. This is like, that's what we want to see. Woo. I want to drain this oil and use fresh oil, so I'm just going to drain it into a little pot. Now see all this stuff? That's the good stuff. That's going to be flavor. So turn the heat back on to like medium and add your onion. Season everything a little bit, so that by the end of it, every layer is seasoned properly. You salt the onions. Salt brings out the water in the onions. The water in the onions pick up all of the bits in the pan. You see how those onions are slowly picking up the brown bits? Now what we can do is pick up the rest of that stuff with the wine, or the tomatoes if you don't want to use wine. Always turn the heat off before you add in alcohol, just to be safe. Mix up the pan. See that? All that stuff is gone. The pan is clean. Now that wine, just reduce it down till it's nothing. I want to fill it up with about halfway of water. I need a little bit of liquid in here because we're going to cook it in the oven, and the puree is kind of thick. So I'm going to add a little bit of water and then clean out the jar, and that's going to create a little bit of liquid for us to cook the thing with in the oven. So that it went from a thicker sauce to a looser sauce. We need that because as it cooks, it's going to reduce and get thicker. So we need to start it more liquidy than we want to end with.
Okay.
So that it's like timing it perfectly, that it's the right consistency when it's done cooking. And now you bring that up to temperature and get the beef back into the pan. And that's like almost all that it takes.
Wow.
We're gonna bring it up to, like, see that? Get it simmering. We want some bubbles forming. We wanna get this whole mass hot and then stick it in the oven. The oven is at 350. So now we can see this is bubbling. I just wanna scrape the bottom, make sure nothing's sticking. Get the lid on, into the oven. That's in the oven, 350 degrees. The only time we're gonna check it is when we want to dip bread into the sauce as a snack.
This is a keto video, no bread.
Oh, I got you good bread too.
You trying to tempt me?
Okay, no bread. We're gonna check on the thing in an hour and a half. And all we're gonna do to check for it is a fork, and we're gonna push into it. And if the center, not the edges will cook quicker than the center. If the center of the meat is resisting at all, then it's still not tender enough. We're gonna let it keep going until we can do that with a fork, but making sure that we don't cook it too far that the whole thing falls apart and then it's like kind of, there's no texture to it.
You don't want that.
We want a little steaky kind of texture to it, but we want it to pull apart. And we'll check back in like an hour, a half hour or two.
I can't believe you tried to sabotage me with bread.
That's how stupid I am. Okay, so it is 2 hours later. So what we're gonna do is, you ready for this?
I'm so ready.
We have the spinach.
Spinach.
We're going to cook the spinach. It's just gonna be salt, garlic, that we have sliced here, some baby spinach, olive oil, and that's it. We're gonna go check the meat. I'm gonna teach you how to figure out when it's done, cook the spinach, and then we're good to go.
And then we can eat.
Yes, I know. I saw you taking so long. It's just how you gotta show it some love. Let's go.
Good things are worth waiting for.
Oh, beautiful. Come here. Now I want you to feel.
Okay.
Give me your camera.
Oh wow, the fork just goes like straight through it.
No resistance. If there is resistance, you just throw it back in, cook it for a little bit longer. I'm just gonna put this lid on, keep it warm while we cook the spinach. When you start to see this garlic browning slightly, you can see the pan is nice and hot. I'm gonna throw in the spinach, give it a minute or like 20 seconds on the heat, then shut the heat off and let it wilt. Turn off the heat. You just like take it off the heat and let that cook. See how it's just like wilting down? That's cooking, and it's gonna be perfect. That's super healthy. Forget about it.
Forget about it.
Huh.
It's good. I think what freaks me out about vegetables is like, it's slimy.
Should have showed you how to roast a vegetable.
Next time.
See, that sauce thickened up. Now feel it. It's like relaxed a little bit. It's like resting.
Yeah. It's like putting a fork through Play-Doh.
Play-Doh, butter.
Butter, yeah.
Come on.
Same thing.
Okay. So now we're gonna plate. Get yourself a fork. Get it all nice up in that sauce.
Okay. That's incredible.
It tastes like a meatball, but none of the crap.
Yeah, and like, it's got marinara sauce, which I miss from eating pasta and pizza.
You can have marinara sauce on keto.
Oh, really?
Why can't you?
Like, tomato sauce is usually kind of sugary.
Because you're not cooking it yourself. Did you see us put sugar in it?
There's no sugar in it.
But yeah, I mean, this is a meal, right?
Yeah, this is
And you got your
incredible.
spinach, which you don't like. But it goes perfect.
My God, what you've done here is incredible.
Pretty easy to do, right?
So easy, and everything here is organic, keto, and I don't feel like I'm getting fatter.
You got yourself something to cook now that's not boring.
Yeah,
It's been fun.
it's been fun.
Now it's the time for you to like plug yourself a little bit.
My name is Will Carmack, and I'm a special effects artist. So if you want to watch some cool visual
Where can they
effects,
find
you can check me out on YouTube, Will Carmack.
One of the things I love about Will is the way that he ends his video. I could relate with it because it's sort of how I end my videos. So I'll let you end this one.
Where there's a will, there's a way. My name is Will, and have a nice day.
So this is the post-credit scene.
Thank you to all of his producers.
Yes, thanks to all my producers. Thanks to Will, was the man. Thanks for coming by. I hope you learned something good.
I learned
that you're
something.
useful. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Thanks to all my patrons. You can't do it without the patrons.
Exactly.
That's all that I have today. I'll see you next time. Please go check out Will's channel. Links are down below. Until then, take care of yourself and go feed yourself.